Alright, in this video we'll create a plugin. It's called 404 redirect plugin. So what it does, so when someone types a random name on the URL and it will be redirected to a certain page. So here in this page it is redirecting to the read more page. So this can be managed by this plugin. So if you see, I have made this whenever there is a 404 redirect, I have made this to get into the read more page. So I'm going to make this to get into the check availability page. The same way, I'm just, if someone randomly a typo error on the URL and clicks on it, it will be redirected to the particular page which I am mentioning it over here. So let me just make this on a team. So again, there's a typo error on the URL and it will be redirected to the team. As of now, the page is empty, but you can design the page as whichever way you want. So now you see there is no submit button. So this is happening with the page reload. So if I make this privacy policy and there's a typo error in the URL, and it will take me to the privacy page because I have defined this in this way. Now, as I said, this is getting saved with the help of AJAX, even without the page reload. So that's the intro for this video. Now, what are the things that we are going to learn? We'll create a custom table. You'll see there's a table called redirect, and there is only one row. And we have made this custom table in this for this particular plugin. You'll see how to create this. Now we have seen. Now in the next thing is we'll see how to create the top level menu. On the sidebar, these are called the top level menus. If I click on it, it will redirect me to our settings page. So consider we are somewhere on the plugins folder, plugins page, and this is the top level menu. If I click on it, so this is the setting page that we would be creating in this tutorial. And then on the page you'll see these are the list of pages that are available, and we'll see how to list all the pages in this particular page. So as of now, this is for the demo purpose. I have just limited pages, which is 7, and these 7 pages are listed over here. We'll see how to list it, and then we'll see how to make the AJAX work without page reloading. You'll see the messenger grading selector now, and you'll see the message. And then we'll see how the template redirect works. So whenever there is a request for a particular page, WordPress uses a hook called template redirect. So we'll see how to use it so that we can make use of our 404 redirect to a particular page. And then there is the major thing, that is the important thing for this particular tutorial. On the episode number 30, we are going to upgrade our plugin with a new feature, which is, if I click on the plugin, you'll see there is a setting page, there is a setting link. So this is the addition of this particular video, a feature you can say it, which we have not covered in the earlier videos. If I click on it, it will again redirect me to the setting page. As a web developer or WordPress developer, you might be wondering, once you activate a plugin, we don't know where the setting page would be. It would be somewhere hidden around the sub-level menu of the settings page, or sometimes it could be in the tools page, or sometimes if we are installed Elementor, it will be in the sub-menu of Elementor. Now, to make it user friendly, or someone who uses your plugin, so that he can understand where to go exactly, you can click on the settings page. Once you click on the settings page, it will again redirect to the same page by the slug. Now that's enough for the intro. These are the topics that we are going to learn. Along with that, we'll see how to explore about this function 404 template redirect and WP redirect, and then we have permalink, and then we have plugin action link. So we'll use this hook plugin action link to have this option available on our plugin. Now, in case if you are interested in learning WordPress development, I have a separate roadmap for the WordPress developer. In case if you wish to become a WordPress developer or web developer, I would recommend you to start from HTML. Then we have CSS. Then we have JavaScript. Then PHP, MySQL. Then WooCommerce. Then after WooCommerce, once you have mastered all the front end, you can get into the theme development. And after theme development, you can get into the plugin development. Now, each of the course has hundreds of video into it, and this would take about 3 months to complete. Once you complete, you would be confident enough to say yourself as you are a HTML developer or a CSS web designer or a JavaScript UI developer. Now you see there are hundreds of videos on the CSS and the hundreds of videos on the JavaScript, which can be your portfolio. Once you complete these courses, you will have a portfolio of yourself where you can show it anywhere to get the job. And once you complete these three, I would recommend you to go have a bit of PHP MySQL so that you better know the syntax of Word WordPress, because WordPress is built on top of PHP. And then that's enough for the intro. I'll leave the link of this in the description box in case if you wish to learn, you can learn it from my website. As of now it's free, but as day passes I'll make it as a paid course. So what I would recommend is start from base and come up to my plugin development course, which is what we are doing right now in the YouTube. For the first thing, we want our plugin to show up on this particular page. To make this work, we need to create a folder on the plugins folder, and I am going to name it as redirect 404. Now the folder is done. We need to create a new file. It is going to be a PHP file. It's better to have the same name as your folder name. It's recommended to. Now this isn't enough. We need to pass the description, the version and the author name. Let me deactivate this so that it doesn't mess up with our current plugin. To have the metadata, we would be writing the name, plugin name, the description and the version number and the author name. Once you click on refresh, you should see a plugin UI 404 redirect, which is what we are creating right now. And then we have, once you click on activate, you should see a settings page which is not showing up right now. Let's just do that. So to do that, you need to understand one thing. We need to link our function to a hook. So that hook is actually plugin underscore, what you see here, action underscore URL. So let's do that. Along with the plugin underscore action underscore URL, you need to pass the file name as well. So you can see WordPress identifies that settings option with the help of the file name. So we need to pass that. Now you see this is the action, this is the plugin underscore action underscore link, and this is the name of the file. So this name of the file will get appended over here, and when the hook is called, or in other word, when there is a list on your, there is a listing of your plugin in this page, this hook is called, and this, when the hook is called, this function will get triggered. On in this function we'll get a link. So this link is nothing but this activate button, this delete button, and whatever edit button it may come, and there are sometimes like upgrade button. So these buttons are accessible with the help of this link. Now we need to create our own link, which is the link to the top level menu page, which we will be creating right now once we create the top level menu page. So over here you'll see I have created a link. This is a href, and this href leads to a slug. So this slug you won't understand until we create a menu page. So as of now, just think is a URL that you want to redirect once the user wants to click on the settings page. And what we need to do is we need to link this anchor tag to the argument that we got. So this is array, these are arrays. So first one, in the array we have a first link, in this array we have a second link, in the array we have a third link. Likewise, what I need is I want this link to show on the front. Once I activate it on the first, as a first link, I want the setting page to get displayed. So in that case we have the list of links in the form of array. So what we need to do is we want our link to be in the first place. So in that case we'll be using the array unshift. So what array unshift does is, this is an array actually, it contains a list of links. I want my link to be at the first, so that's why array unshift, and returns, and I'm returning the link so that we can display the list of links. So once I click on activate, you'll see the first link would be actually the settings link. Now that's enough for the settings link. If I click on it, it will go nothing because there is no slug created. So to make the slug creation, So before slug creation, what I need is when I activate a plugin, I want the table to get created by itself. So to create a table, we have a function called register activation hook. We have seen it so many times, so I'll just be in a hurry to complete it. Now we have a register activation hook. Once the plugin is activated, I want a function to get created. Once the function is created, we need the access of the WordPress database object. So with the help of WPDB, we have the access of database object, and we will be knowing what the prefix is. Each database will have its own prefix, so we need to understand what prefix it is, and then we need to give our name of the table. And this is for the data set. Either it's going to be ASCII or either it's going to be UTF-8. It's default, we don't have to worry about it because we need to pass this to a query. That's why I'm creating it. Now in the query, you'll see I have created a column ID, I have created another column which is page ID, and I have made the ID as a primary key, which is this one. And to run our custom table, WordPress gives you a function called delta dv. Delta dv is nothing but for if suppose you have created your own table and you want the table to be executed without any issue, WordPress gives you a function that is delta dv. If you are working with your the table which is already exists in the WordPress database, we will have an option like wp_query, but since it's a custom table, we'll be using delta dv. So use delta dv, we need to define where the where the function is actually located. It's located in the wp admin includes and upgrade.php, and then that's done. Now this we'll see. Once I activate it, you will see the table that will be get populated on the database. Let me activate this. It has the plugin is activated now. Once it's activated, I have to click on this database, and I should see, you see, this is already there. Now the problem is we would be using only one row, so that we know which page to get redirect. We don't want multiple rows for this table. So for that, by default, I will enter a value. So I'm getting all the values from the table, which is this one, and if the count is 0, you know the count is 0 because there is no row. Just insert one value. So this will be done once you click on activate this plugin, because we have written it inside the register activation hook. If I click on activate, the table would get created. If the table created, there will be the first row with value 0. Now in place of 0, we want to know which page. Each page is assigned an ID. So if you click on edit, I want you to look at the place where the start button, where the start search bar is. You'll see post equal to 28, and this has the post equal to 11, and this has the post equal to 26, and this has the post equal to 11. So 115. So these post ID I want to save in this page ID, so that WordPress knows which page to show when there is a 404 error. So now we need to create top level menu. So to create a top level menu, we have a hook called admin menu. We need to pass some parameter for that, and this is the hook, and this is a function that would get called. And over here we need to pass some parameter to the add menu page. This menu page is for the top level menu. So what do I mean by top level? Whatever you see here on the sidebar, these are the top level menus. So this is the name of the page, this is going to be the h1, this is going to be the option for the admin, this is a keyword, you don't have to worry about it, and this is a slug. So as in the settings page, you see it is already highlighted. We want once I click on the link, the page should get redirected to this particular URL. So in WordPress we'll call it a slug. So this is a slug, and then we have a function. So this function will simply have nothing as of now. Let's just say hello. So once you click on the link on the menu, on the top level menu, it will leave you to the hello. So this is the function that will display the HTML. As of now, I just want to show you one more thing. If I again click on the settings page, it will lead me to the same URL. Again, that's the reason why I have defined the slug. Now let's enter the HTML. Here we don't want nothing. We just need a HTML, static HTML. Let me just close the PHP so that we can write our HTML. This is for the success message, and we have a form so that we can use AJAX. form with an ID, and then we have an input field called radio button, and then along with the radio button we have the page name. It's a static as of now. You'll see the radio button and the page name. Now with the help of the query, WordPress gives you a global object which is post. With the help of post we'll have access to the all the pages. So let's do that. Now with the help of get pages we'll have access to all the pages. Now what do I need? I need the page name and I need the page ID. So we would be using for each because there would be multiple pages, and I have access to the individual page with the help of the P. So I have displayed the ID, I have displayed the post title. Now you'll see the list of pages, and in the ID for the input field there would be the page ID. So if I hover it, you'll see it has the value of 3, which is the page ID 3. It has the value of 28, which is the page ID of page ID of check availability page. Now what I need is, once I click on it, the database should get populated. So for that I would be writing a AJAX query just below the form. So run the jQuery only when all the HTML gets loaded. For this is the code that does that. So when there is a change in the radio button, get the value and store it into the page ID. Now when I click on it, I have a variable that holds the page ID, and then I'm sending that page ID to the AJAX. So we know in the previous video we have seen to send a value through AJAX in WordPress. WordPress gives you, we need to define the action. So this is the action. It's a user defined variable, you can write anything, but action is required because action is the only thing that links your request to the particular function. So we'll be defining a hook that has this value to it, so that it knows we need to access this URL post request and do some modification. So I'm sending these value to the AJAX URL. So it's a keyword that WordPress provides you. Previously we have used wp_localize_script, so that's for the education purpose. Now WordPress itself gives you a URL for linking your PHP URL into your JavaScript URL. Now we have access to the action. We are sending the variable to the post variable, to the post PHP variable. We'll be accessing it with the help of hook. So let's do that. Now we know we are sending to variable through post. Now we need to access that post variable. How WordPress knows that these two posts are getting submitted somewhere? So WordPress knows by the action that you are providing. So when I click, you'll see it's getting highlighted on the add action. This is actually a hook, wp_ajax_, what you see here, and then we have a function, and this function knows what to get. So we have passed two things. The first thing is the page ID, and the second thing is action. By action you mean the hook, and by page ID we need to know which page to get updated. And now this is a table, and we are writing an update query. We'll be receiving the post ID which we have sent through AJAX with the help of post variable. Since we have only one row, that's why ID equal to 1. Update the post ID, update the page ID where the ID is 1. That's what I am mentioning here. And then after executing, you'll receive a message with the help of wp_send_json_success, and this success can be received as a response for the AJAX, and it will populate it on the HTML. So let's see this in action. When I click on team, you'll see a message, redirect page updated. Now once I click on this browse, you'll see this is 2 right now. That means it works. If I click on masonry grid and get back to the browse, now it's 115. The same way if I click check availability and get back to browse, it's 28. So that means the AJAX is working perfectly. But when I page refresh, the value is not auto populated. So for that, what we need to do is, before HTML we want to know which page is actually selected. So as of now the page ID 28 is selected, so somewhere the page is 28 is there, and we need to know we need to just update it as this is checked. If I make this checked, you'll see it will be applied to all. Since checkbox is only for one selection, if it is sorry, radio is for only one selection, it got applied only to the last one. If it is checkbox, then everything will have the checked attribute. So I can show you as well. You'll see this one also has checked, and this one will also have checked, and everything will have checked. But we want only the page ID, which is 28, to have the value checked. So for that, WordPress gives you a function which is a PHP WordPress helper function, and we are saying that display only checked when the selected. So we need to run a query to know the selected variable to populate. Now in this, we are seeing what is the page ID of the table. So now the page ID is 28, so the 28 will be there, and the 28 here will be 28, and here one of them will have 28. If both is true, then the value checked is applied. Let's see. If both is true, only the checked is applied. So now it's not 20. Let's just see. It's 11 now, and if I click on inspect, this value will have 11. So that the condition got passed, and that's why it returned true, and that's why checked is applied. So this is WordPress helper function to make our life easy. Now what we need, we have set which page to redirect. Now it's time for the redirection. Whenever you type something on the URL, WordPress will load. Now you'll get 404 error. This is a 404 error, page not found. WordPress, what it does is it runs a hook. So it runs init hook, init init, it runs wp header hook, wp head hook, and in between we have something called template redirect. So this is a place where WordPress will understand which page to show to the user. So there are multiple templates, like single is for the single blog post. I think let's just type somewhere over here so that it doesn't autocomplete for us. So we have single for the single post page, we have index page, we have front page for the home page, and we have home for the list for the blog page, and then we have archive, a date, and so on. Content also is there. So these are the templates. So WordPress will decide which template to show. So for that, we will make a modification. When there's a template redirect, run this function, and inside this function I'm saying, I just forgot one more thing. There is a template called 404, and I'm checking if it is 404, then what do we need? We need which page ID to show. So present is it 11, so this will give you what page ID to show, and if the page ID is not 0, then redirect to the link. So this permalink will nothing but redirect you to the URL. So we know that this is the page by this name. As a human, we know by this name, but WordPress knows by the ID. So to convert from ID to the readable name, we have a get permalink. And now since it's now WordPress know this is the link that need to show, then it will redirect it and then close the function, and that's it. That's the end of the plugin. If previously it was showing 404, now it will show whatever we have mentioned it. We have mentioned it read more. Now let me just change it to masonry, and if I do the same typo error on the URL, it will redirect me to the masonry grid. And that's the end of the plugin. We have seen the settings page, settings link on the plugin, and we have seen the template redirect hook. That's the end of the video. Meet you tomorrow with another hook.